Howdy, guys. Well, I don't know if y'all have been watching or not, but the talk every day on these news stations have been, uh, "Hey, Storm Country Gal," have been, "Let's send the Trump supporter kids to camp." The camp they're talking about, and they stated, is re-education camps, and it's been more and more and more on MSNBC and CNN that they've been doing this. So much so it's even actually gotten some of the left wingers upset. One of the left wingers, he's been friends with Trump, but he's also talked out against Trump before too. And that's Kid Rock. Uh, Kid Rock's pissed about that. Um, I got two links that y'all should probably even think about looking at. Um, Talking about sending also Trump supporters and back to camp to uh, to re-educate them. And I'm going to bring you a side, two different sides there, so y'all don't say I'm just going with the white. I'm a white man, and I only go with white. I've heard a few say, read a few say too. Got a black man's view on that as well for you to look at. He's pissed too about that. Um, both good people right there, by the way. You ask me. Uh, well, Gary Frenchie, I honestly believe he's just in it for to be in it. The other one ain't. Well, I agree with that, Storm Country Gal. But wouldn't it be good to know what the left thinks of you so you know how to maybe prepare for it when it comes to you? That's what I'm talking about. Uh, I mean, the only reason I watch this shit and actually bring it to y'all and suggest y'all watch it, I ain't telling you to. I'm just suggesting. It's just so you know what they're actually saying about people who supported Trump, how they're demanding their kids being taken away and put in re-education camps, and that they're horrible kids. Literally, some of them are saying Trump supporter kids are horrible kids that need to go to these camps and be re-educated. They ain't even giving them a chance to make or form their own opinion. Don't want to give them a chance to make or form their own opinion. They want them to be roboted into their opinion immediately. Yes, you're right, Storm Country Gal. And they keep saying it's all Trump. It's all Trump. I hate to tell them, I was mad way before I even knew who Trump was. Long before that, I didn't even know who Trump was until he was on WWE messing around with Vince McMahon. Okay, doing WWE stuff back in the Attitude Era. Okay, I didn't know anything about him before that, and I was mad before then. Okay, long before that. So what they're saying is very wrong. A lot of these people were probably mad at what they were seeing before that. Well, that's what they're talking about. That's the rhetoric they are putting out now almost every day on those news channels. Literally, take it, re-educate, take it, re-educate, take it, re-educate. Well, there was a group that did that too. That was back in the 1930s, called the Nazis. Nazis did that a lot. They killed tens of thousands of Jewish people that didn't believe in them. Put them in frickin' gas chambers and killed them. You know, so is that's what's next? Let's send them to camp first, and then if that don't work, let's just gas them. Is that what next? I mean, that's what it sounds like, because that's what the Germans did. They sent them to a concentration camp. They couldn't re-educate them through these blaring bullhorns and take them away from what they believed. And then they started gassing and killing them. So is that where we're headed? Because it sure in the hell damn well looks like we're headed that way. 1930s Germany. And that's what I'm hearing every time I'd listen to that. 1930s Germany. Freaking god dang Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself said he remembered the night of the broken glass and the stories of the night of the broken glass. And yet we're right. Why ain't he saying it now? I'm sure if he remembered the stories of the night of the broken glass, he sure in the hell remembers the stories of how Hitler killed thousands and thousands and thousands because they did not believe in his way. Hey, 420 Cop Watch, how are you, man? Good to see you, bro. Why ain't you remembering that, Mr. Schwarzenegger? Since you remembered the story of the night of the broken glass, you're failing now. Your history lessons were cut short, I guess, Mr. Schwarzenegger. As far as I'm concerned, you can pack your bags and go back to your country if you don't like our country, Mr. Schwarzenegger. I didn't like your movies when you made them. All I saw was a pumped up on steroids moron that gave every kid in the world at that time the idea of let's pump up on steroids and we'll look big, bad, and get girls. That's what you did and the contribution you gave to our country. Killed and hurt a lot of kids that wanted to be just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they knew how you did it because it was all over the news how you got kicked out of these freaking several of your competitions for shooting up steroids. Yes, I know. Uh, it's okay. It's okay for them. like you're saying there, Storm Country Gal. Arnold Schwarzenegger, i that's Arnold Schwarzenegger right now. As far as I'm concerned, he can pack his bags and go back to his own damn country. If this country is so bad for him, go back to his own damn country and stay there. Guarantee you he won't do it. And you're right. People can talk like that about anybody that has anything to do with Trump. It's okay. It's okay. Let's not censor it. Let's not take it down. Let's leave it there. And then let's talk about sending these people to uh, to camps to re-educate them, re-education camps. I told you all a while back, the United States is looking more and more like what they did to the Native Americans, where they came in and stole their kids off of reservations and took them to Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and other places, and re-educated them to be perfect little white boys and girls by beating them, by leaving scars all over their bodies because they spoke their native language, because they spoke or wore their native clothing. So if you say, uh, I want freedom, they're going to beat you until you don't say, I want freedom. There's your native language. Your native language is everybody's native language is they want freedom. Well, they're going to beat you until you don't say, I want freedom no more. It's exactly what they're going to do. You wear a thing that has something to do with anything with freedom. Don't have to be Trump. They're using him as a political pawn and a political bullshit uh, thing. Okay. It's called freedom. Okay. Do I agree with everything Trump did? Hell fucking no. Do I agree with everything he said? Hell fucking no. I was mad before I even knew who Trump was. Long before I knew who he was. So, but because I said good things about him, I have a chance of going to a fucking re-education camp and have this beat out of me. They're saying, "Oh, it's going to be a great thing for them. They'll have the Muppets. They'll have this. They'll have that, all on TV, all over the place." But yet, I know what such a good thing they said the Native Americans would have when they took them to Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and I know what my aunt's back looked like who was in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, where she was beat so bad that she bled for days and had scars all up and down her back from it, from the from her buttocks, from the top of her buttocks to her neck, literally beat. They talked about that being such a good thing for Native American kids. It'll be a good thing for them. They'll have food, they'll have this, and they'll have that. And then when they got them there, the truth came out. And when the truth came out, then instead of, because they did at first, they're like, okay, this could be good that our kids could learn something like this. Okay. uh, just even the learning experience, so they know how to handle certain situations, things like that. And then the truth got out. It wasn't as good as what they said. They quit doing that and they had to start coming in. And in 1983 was the last time they came to the Seminole Reservation and stole a child in 1983 and sent them to Talcott, Oklahoma. 1983. They're doing it to you now, people. They're wanting to do it to you now. And they're openly and freely talking about it. And that should concern you when they are able to openly and freely talk about it. If they're open and free talking about it, and what have they done behind the scenes already? We know Biden's already talked about opening up FEMA camps, making a baseball diamond over there in California, one of the baseball fields over in California, a huge camp to keep sick people in. He didn't say what type of sick people. Everybody assumed it's for the COVID, but from the rhetoric I'm hearing now, the sick people might be anybody that said anything good about Trump. Think about that, because they think you're sick. You need to be re-educated. You're sick. Your brain ain't right because you don't think their way. Never said what type of sick people. He just said he wanted to open it up for sick people. Here's you some food for thought. If that don't concern you, I don't know what does, by the way. And here's something else. You know, I preached quit doing the double standards, and that's why I went the way I did with this. Okay. I'm going to quit with just doing the Trump thing. Okay. Uh, because even though that's what they're pushing, but here's the problem uh, that you have. We all are speaking the same language on both sides. BLM, Antifa, Trump supporters. It all comes down to one simple thing. And if you want to go down the middle with it, it is straight up. We're all speaking one word, and that's freedom. Freedom. Freedom of whatever you want to call it. It's still freedom. It all boils down to that one freaking word, no matter what side you're on. Period. Freedom. You need to quit fighting each other and realize that. Freedom is the one and only word that matters on all three sides there. It don't matter what color you are. It don't matter whatever. Freedom. People need to wake up to that. I've heard that 100 million times come out of Black Lives Matter and Antifa's mouth. I've heard that 100 million times come out of Trump people's mouths. So we got one common goal. We all want freedom, which this country was founded on, by the way. You can go back in the day, back in the day when the Constitution was written, the blacks weren't considered humans. Well, that was back in the day. Today, it is not that way. Get past the past and get into the future, get into the present. Get it, hell, don't get in the future, get in the present. Who gives a fuck what happened then? It's what it now entails. All men are created equal. It don't matter what color you are. You want freedom. We want freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Get past the color barrier. Get past the past. Get in the present and look at what everybody's asking for. And don't think once they're done with the Trump people, they ain't going to want to come after you when you're demanding your freedom from them too. Think about that. Trump people are demanding freedom. Now they're demonized, told they need to be re-educated, uh, that their kids might be taken away from them, put in camps. You start demanding your freedom after that's all said and done. Who's next? Because you ain't thinking their way. You ain't. They don't want us to be free. They want us to be all happy-go-lucky sheep. Yes, Biden. Yes, Democrats. That's what they want. They think they're gods. They literally and truly think they're gods. That's why they can sit there and say, no God is to be with state. And then they try to call it the hallowed chambers and and all that and use religious terms for the the chambers that they sit in when they claim there is not to be God and state together. So what's that make them? Gods in their eyes, not queens of kings. They done elevated themselves to God and goddess status when they do that. And those of you that say, "Oh, I don't believe in God," that should concern you worse than the people that believe in God, because they're going to force you to believe in a God, and there's the God that you got to believe in. Wow, there's you some thought. Y'all need to start looking into this and quit being so narrow-minded and get into the present. Open your minds and see the big picture. See, this affects every freaking body. It affects me. It affects Storm Country Gal. If it affects me, it affects Fuck the Police. Anything that affects you affects someone, somewhere, in some way, good or bad. So quit being so narrow-minded and to think of just yourself and say, "Oh, I don't have to believe in a God." Well, you're going to be forced to believe in a God. They're already trying to shove it down your ass and up your throat. Yes, I said that backwards because that's the way they think. I intentionally said that backwards because that's the way they think. Okay, She Devil, I hope everything goes good with that, huh? I really do. I'll keep you in my prayers, girl. Okay, hug you back, girl. Hug you back. I want you all to think about what I said in this. Give a long, hard look at the word freedom. Then look at the long, hard picture and the row that's being hoed right now. Because every damn one of us, no matter who you are, on what side of the fence you're on, or anything else, you're demanding one thing: fucking freedom. Freedom. The word freedom. That's what you're demanding. It don't matter what side you're on. Get past your petty differences, each and every one of you. Come together, and something can be accomplished. I can damn well guarantee that. Because if 627 people that continuously worked on a project called the White River Watershed Project to shut it down, imagine what you could do with the United States citizenship going against that and getting what they want, what you want. That's freedom. Imagine that. We shut down with 627 continuous people working on something with with several other hundred, probably hundreds off and on volunteers helping as well. We shut down a whole government project that intended to steal hundreds of thousands of acres of land from people right out from under their nose. Hundreds of thousands of acres got shut down in Missouri, in southern Missouri, and northern Arkansas. If we could do that, imagine what could be accomplished with the numbers if we just put our differences aside and work together and get what we all want, and that's freedom. Imagine that what could be accomplished then. And on that note, my prayers are out there for you. My good wishes, my well wishes, all my karma, whatever you want to call it, it's out there for you. I do that every night. And I don't care who you are, my trolls, my people, whoever. I wish y'all good, but I wish y'all to think about that. And on that note, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whichever the case may be. And I'm out. And I just realized something. Storm Country Gal said something. Nope, he gets too much money from the United States. Yes, I know. But if he don't like what the United States is about, he don't need to be coming here and trying to destroy what our country was founded upon and uh, what should be held into account, um, and not destroyed by him that saying almost the same rhetoric. But on that, good night, guys. I'm out.